Hey crafty family, it's me. Um, I'm doing a video today for you. I wasn't gonna do a video, I just sat down to play. I did my live stream earlier, but I just sat down to play and I said, well, why don't I just record it because maybe you guys might be interested in what I'm doing. Um, so I'm gonna do a video and I'm going to show you how to use up just junk, just some junk and some scrap and some what would be trash maybe to somebody, and I thought it would be fun to just mess around. So check out the fun. Okay, so what I did was I already did some because like I said I wasn't going to do a video originally, so I kind of did some things. This is a piece of watercolor paper. I got it from the Creative Reuse place. Look at my hands from the live stream earlier. They're so gross. And my nails are, it's ink. It's from the live stream. Or it's from what I started doing. So I took this paper and all I did was I gessoed it, and while the gesso was wet, I took printer ink, like when you run, like I buy printer ink in big jars like this because I have a refillable printer thing. And if you, I mean, you don't have to have this kind of ink. It could be any kind of ink that's running out and you're down to the littlest bit. Add a little bit of water, shake it up. And because it's printer ink, this stuff like goes a long way. So the bottle was completely empty and I got this color just off the sides. It's almost worth it to go on eBay and buy some like 6-color printer ink. Just to have, because it's not very expensive. You can get all 6 colors for like Epson, which is like the cheapest ink. It's what I use for because my printer's an Epson. And you can get all 6 colors for like $15. And they're 100 ml bottles, so they're big. And it'll go a long way. Like a little drop will make a lot of color. So you can use it in your sprays. You can put them in dropper bottles and use them for dropping. Use it for splattering, which is what I did here. So, you know, if you know somebody that's got these ink bottles, you could say when you're done with it, you know, when there's a tiny little drop left in it, or even if there isn't, just save the bottle for me, and you know, and they might think you're crazy, but you know, so then you can take it and put a little water in it and get color, because it's all it takes. You get a lot of color. I mean, if you've ever gotten printer ink on your hand, I got a drop on me and it spread to this big, looked like my fingers got jaundice. And then of course I've got yellow and a little bit of magenta. So I like to do that. I also like to mix alcohol with some of this ink so that it becomes like an alcohol ink kind of. It acts similar. So you can do several things with it. So what I ended up doing was taking my splatterer, which, where'd I do with it? Oh, is it in here? Yeah. It's the Tim Holtz Distress thing. Let me get a rag because it's wet. But all you do is, and you don't need this, you can use a fan brush and do basically the same thing. But a fan brush, you would tap it like this. Whereas this, I just pull which is how my finger got, I just pull the bristles and it splats. So that's all I did on wet gesso, so that it would mute it and it would kind of go in with it. So that came out really cool. And then from the live stream, I've got like all these papers that I use to mop up stuff. I've got different colors and different backgrounds, and just from mopping up off of my desk and from like mopping a stencil. So, I mean, I save these and I use them for collage. And then my paper towels from tonight's live stream are also very colorful and pretty. So I'm thinking about using some of that. And I think what I'm going to do is use the paper towel first. And I think I'm going to use this one mostly, and save this one for a different project. But I'm going to use this and I'm going to cut it up for some texture and color, and I'm going to Mod Podge it down, and then I'll add some paper too. And I'm just going to make a Mod Podge mess. I mean, you know, like a hodgepodge of stuff. And then if I have to gesso over some of it and, you know, add other things, so be it. It's just junk. You know, the only thing that, you know, wasn't leftovers or junk was the paper. So you could do what you want. Let me see. Let me get my brush. I love this brush. Dry it off a little. And then I will just start ripping pieces of my lovely paper towel and using it. And that's a lot of fun to do because you get some awesome texture that way on your page. So I'll start with those. And you could just, this because we were doing brushos on some cards, not cardstock. What is it called? Yep, I can't remember. Chipboard. Chipboard. We were doing. I gessoed it, and we used brusho, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm just going to, and even if I don't complete it right now, at least I've got a background, you know. So even if I do some things and then go back at a later date and finish it later, you know, you can do that. You can do whatever you want, but at least you got it started. So then later, if you're bored and you have nothing to do and you're not feeling, you know, you don't know what to do, you go back and you get the ones that you kind of prepared the backgrounds for. You break them out, you put them in some sort of folder, you break them out, and you look through them, and and something might inspire you, whether it's the colors or something you did, and you might say, oh, you know, this will be fun to work on. So it's a good way to have a couple, you know, simple backgrounds that don't take much time to hold on to help spark your creativity at a later date, which is always a good thing, as Martha Stewart would say. It's a good thing. So I am just going to continue to add this mishmash just for texture purposes. Need a couple more pieces. That's a good piece. Maybe that piece. And there's a hair. More texture. I might add a bit more. Just gluing along. If any of it's lifting up, just mash it down with your brush. Let me see. Maybe I want to put some paper down. Let's find a paper that would, one of the papers that would match. This would match. Actually, I like these as a background, like as a tag, so I might hold on to those for something else. But I might add this blue one and just rip pieces off it and add it in. Just make a fun texture page. I'm just going to, I'm even going to leave in the little hooky-doo. Why not? It'll be a mishmash of color, and then we'll go over it with some gesso and kind of chill it out a little bit. But the colors will still pop through. This is just a good way to use up your junk. Even if it doesn't all go together, it will in the end. That's all that matters. Okay, I think I'm going to leave this to dry completely, and then I will come back and we will move on to the next step. So, I will be back. Okay, now we're back and this is dry. So what I'm going to do is take some gesso and I'm going to grab my brush, which I hope is clean. Let's make sure it's cleaned off from the gluing and dry it. And what we're going to do, and if you hear a noise in the background, it's my heater. I have like a little space heater going because I'm cold. You probably can't hear it, but just in case you can, it's not anything with my audio, it's just I'm freezing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this with gesso. And what you'll notice is you'll notice on the paper towel, since it was textured, you could see the texture, which is really cool. So it becomes very cool and texturized if you go over it lightly and don't glob it on too much. And it just gives, it'll just knock back a lot of that color. But keep it in the recesses of the paper towel, which is fun. Fun and interesting. I just want to keep a little of the color coming through, and then the rest I'm not concerned with. Alright, that's cool. Because now I can see what I want to see, and then not what I don't want to see. Like I didn't want it to be too bright, so now it's just got some color coming through. Rinse off my brush. Okay, now I'm going to have to clean off my lid to my gesso because it is getting mucky. I'm going to heat dry this. It shouldn't take too long. And if you were at my live stream, we were playing with my heat tool because it wouldn't work, but I fixed it. So it's all fixed. Hopefully it'll stay that way. Okay, it's not perfectly dry, but it's dry enough. What I'm going to do, I think, is I'm trying to think of what I want to do at this point. Okay, so what I decided to do was, now that I'm looking at this, I think it would be better to make this into ATCs because I really like the texture and they would make really cool ATCs. And I was like looking at it and I'm like, you know what, I like this idea for ATCs. So what I did was I grabbed some random stamps and I'm going to grab some StazOn ink. And these are like my two favorite stamps. This is like a diamond pattern. And the other one is a script pattern. And I just thought it would be pretty awesome to, and I also grabbed my texture tools because because see, it's not going to go all over, it's going to go in the parts that are flatter and on the paper here, which I just thought would look so cool. Yeah, I really like that. That's so cool. It just gives it a little something. And then we can do just the edge over here where there's not much. and I think cut up into ATCs with the, I just love the texture for an ATC. I think it's going to look really groovy. And I can even like get in there and lift it up and get some of that, get it inside of those spots that I can't reach. Like that. A little bit over here. Okay. And then we're getting messy, folks. And then, oh, same ink pad. Why do I got stuff on my ink pad? I don't know. I don't know. I'm a hot mess. But what else is new? And then we can go in with some script. Well, that looks groovy. And if I lift it up, I can get more into the little areas. Very cool. I love it. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're cooking with butter. Let's see if I can get a baby wipe out of here. And clean off my stamp a little. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is take out my texture tools. I've got this little bag that I use for my jelly plate. It's got all kinds of stuff in here. And I've got some colors of paint. I got orange and like a teal blue or aqua blue. I don't know the names of colors. And I just thought that it would be kind of fun to do some texture. Oh, look at that. And to do some circles and some various patterns. I've got this thing, that makes cool texture. I usually fold it in half and do it. Let's see. Got these double circles, all kinds of stuff. Let's start with that. And how I like to do it is to mix the paint and then put a little puddle. And I'll start with this one. I just get it all in the paint and you got you some circles. And of course they're not regular circles like perfect circles. They're nice and irregular, which I like. And I just think this is going to make a really badass ATCs, which I look forward to. Good enough. Now with the orange, I'm going to dry this just a little bit. And it's fun how, you know, some stamping and some geometrical shapes can really bring a page together. That's the pretty cool thing. Now let's put some orange over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread it out with my fingers a little bit. So it's like So it's like the surface of a stamp pad. And then I'm going to take my quirky patterns and pick some up. And there, see how cool? You get some groovy patterns. Well, that's groovy. Let me get a little more paint. I like teal and orange together. Now let's do some bubble wrap. I'm going to throw this in the water just so it rinses. We'll do some bubble wrap. Probably time for me to get a new piece of bubble wrap because I've been using the same piece for like freaking ever. Very cool. Loving it. Okay. So you're just using junk from around the house. The bubble wrap, that thing I got, it was supposed to be like a tablet holder, but I didn't need it. So it had cool texture on it, so why not? So now I think that I'm going to, first of all, use up some of this paint. So I'm going to make some circles on here too, because I've got my scrap paper left. And it's still worthy of some color. This one would look nice with some teal circles. And this is how you build up your scrap papers too, using up your leftover paints and whatnot to give yourself some color on things. I always keep some handy for that reason. You can even take this and dip it right into the orange to get a little more like that, a little more texture. And you're using up your paints, so you're not wasting anything. Now that's really pretty much done. Now, the best part is when you can break out your black and white paint. And I think since there's still a lot of white on here, the black paint would probably be sufficient. And let me think, how do I want to do that? I want to do some black smaller circles, I think. Trying to think. I have this empty bottle, because this one I ended up, because I had two magentas, I poured it into there when I made the paint, so I can use this. This is a good circle to use. See, like anything can become a stamp. Let me grab some black paint. Where is my black paint? It's hiding from me. Where it is. There you are. Suffering succotash, you was hiding. And now we can just take it and mash it around. And look at that, sloppy, nice sloppy circles. That's what we want. Nice, non-conforming circles. They look like just, you know, rings of a coffee cup. Sloppy circles. And it's bringing the page together. And if you give them a little twist when you put them down, it, you know, it gives it an even better circle. Let's do one more over here. And then I'm going to set that aside a second and grab my print here. We'll do this one a little bit. See, because these can be cut up into inchies or, you know, if they're big enough, postcards, ATCs in themselves, because these are your scrap papers. We can use some circles on this one here. We'll do a couple since I've got plenty of paint. Very cool. Even just stamping off what's left. I like it. I like it. Okay. Now, I'm going to clean that off and clean up the paint. Now we're getting down to the messy stuff. And everybody has a little bit of craft paint, you know, black, white, a couple basic colors. That's all you need to get started. That and some junk. It doesn't even have to be watercolor paper. Just use a piece of old cereal box. And then your paper towels and your, you know, junk. Use junk. So let's see. What else can we add to this puppy? Let me think a minute. Because don't forget, we've committed to chopping it up into ATCs. So let's see what else we can think of to add to it. How about some metallic? How about we get a metallic paint? Hold on a second, I'll be right back. I've got a metallic gold and a goldy yellow color and a metallic orange. It's a different, well, this says metallic red, but it looks very orange to me. Let me see. Yeah, we could try it. Let me try it in a couple spots and see what it's very pink. No, never mind. It's pink. It's pink. It's pink. I don't want pink. I'll just smear it in. There we go. You can't tell now. I thought it was. It looks orange in the bottle. I don't know if you could tell, but when I put it out, it was very pink. Let me see. Let me go back and look again real quick. I do have an orange. This is orange. Yep, that's orange. And here's a yellow. I didn't really want gold. I'd rather have yellow. Metallic yellow. How many times do you see a metallic yellow? This is Dale Rowney's graduate acrylic. So, that's what I want. Now, do I want a circle still? I'm trying to think. What other shape? Let's look at our bag of tricks and see what other shapes we got. Ooh, a star. We got stars. I don't really want flowers or anything. I got, ooh. Wait a minute. Let me look here. Let's see if I can reach it. This has like, oh, that's all flaking off. Let me get that off before it flakes on my project. Well, I use the other side of it. What I'll do is cut it. This way I don't have to worry about it. Where's my scissors? I lost my scissors. There we go. I will cut this. I'm going to have to put that in water and hopefully wash off the flakes. Alright, nice clean piece. Except for that. I don't want flakes on my project. This will give like lines. So maybe we'll do some orange lines. Because I did find the orange paint that I was thinking I didn't have. Ooh. It's going to be subtle. It's going to be hard to pick up on camera. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. Let me get some more of that. I didn't want to put too much out if I didn't like it, but I do like it. It's very cool because it's so subtle that it might be a little, I mean, not where the paper towel is because that ends up picking up a lot. But it's really cool. I love that. Just gives these little lines. Very cool. Okay, that's really cool. Okay, stick that in the water so we don't have flaky paint on it next time I use it. Okay. Now let's do something with a pop of yellow. Or maybe we should go back to, maybe we should do a metallic blue because the teal kind of got pushed to the back. I'm thinking that might be a good idea. What do you think? Because the teal now has been taken over by the orange. So let me go get a metallic. And I'll be right back. I got my PBO blue, green, or something like that. Let's see, I think I'll do the stars in this. I think that would look nice. I'm just going to spread it out so that I can stamp. And I'll put some fingerprints on this one. I don't waste nothing. I don't even wipe my fingers off half the time. Put it on something. Now this is a little foam stamp. And I use these strictly for my jelly plate and just for random texture. Because they're great for that because you can use them with paint. Ooh, I really like that. You can use them with paint and then just wash them off. And they don't have to come perfectly clean. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's groovy. That's bringing it back. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're cooking with gas. Let's see, we're going to do one going off. Ooh, I smeared that one, but that's okay. No big deal. It gave it some color. It ain't going to make a difference when it's all chopped up into ATC size. We'll do one here, and then we'll get a little more out of it and do one right here. That works. Oh wait, we missed a hole down here. Dang it. I wonder if it'll still, yeah, we're getting some. Ah, that works. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I am getting paint all over my pajamas that my sister bought me. Well, that's just the way it is with pajamas for me because I wear them crafting a lot because I craft at night. So, unfortunately, any pajamas I wear are going to be subjected to crafty paint goodness. Usually not on my pants, usually just my shirt, usually just my sleeves, really. So let's see. Do we want to add yellow? I don't think so. I think this is pretty much done. I'm just going to add some splatters. Maybe we could do splatters of yellow. That would be cool. I'm going to take some yellow, and I'm going to add a little water. Where's my splatter tool? Is it back in there? Did I put it back in there? I don't see it. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to squirt a little bit of water. Water, aqua, H2O, yo. That's my water. I did that because I wanted to make sure that I see that it's water and not alcohol because I have a bottle, why did I do that? Well, now we're going to make spots on the other one too because I got it on the end of the paintbrush, so why not? Make do with what you got, right? Don't waste anything. Alright, add a little water to your paint whenever you're going to splatter. You can use a fan brush. I think we need a little more water. It needs to be quite fluid. And then, especially want to get it in the stars. This is a great accent color. To add to the yellow and the teal, because yellow, teal, orange, they all go very nicely together. We're just throwing some color on. And when these are cut up into ATCs, I'll show you how pretty they will be. Very nice. Now I'll move that aside. We will go to, since I have some paint left, we will splatter the hell out of this too. And where's my towel? Let's take some yellow and add it to the even add it to this towel here. And really, all I have to do is just start wiping out the jar with it, or the glass bowl, to get some of that on there. Very cool. Very cool. All that'll dry over there. I put this in my bucket. Okay. That's what we got. And I think it looks groovy. It's nice and colorful, and it's got metallic to it, so it gives it that pop. Yeah, this is awesome. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to cut it up into ATCs and see what we got. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I'm back. I decided not to cut them on camera. I did it off camera because, you know, cutting's boring. That's the boring part. You don't need to see that. But look what we got. We have got some awesome ATCs here. And I would have had one more. I would have had a total of 9, because you can get 9 off of a regular sheet. But I accidentally cut it at 2.5, and then I did 2.5 instead of 3.5. So if I would have put this on another inch, but I'll still use it because I can use it like this. What I can do is I can get a piece of, I would back these on chipboard before I would use them anyway. So what I'm just going to do is back this on, look, glue these both down to the chipboard. So, and there you go. So there's my other one, which I'll cut off a little bit more because I actually cut it, but I need to cut off a little extra on that one. So I do have 9. Yeah, 9 ATCs. All they need is a nice, you know, saying or something. So I can use my little word stickers or anything. And they all have a piece of star on them, either a full star or pieces. They all have a little bit of everything, which I love. I think they came out amazing. I love the colors. I have a couple little bits left from when I cut off, and then one long strip. These I can make into inchies. These would make great inchies, and these are just little collage pieces that I can use on something else. So if I felt like it, I can even like take them and like layer them on one of the ATCs, or just use them as, you know, collage scrap. So, you know, you don't need a lot of stuff. You can use household things, paper towels, you know, an old medicine bottle to make circles, you know, anything that will make texture. That's what we did. A couple of stamps. They don't even have to say anything or do anything. They don't have to be special because they're going to be cut up. The whole point isn't, oh, it's got to look perfect. You got to see the whole stamped image. That's not the purpose of this. Let me go here, because since we're done, I could say what I got to say. But you don't have to have fancy stuff. It's not about that. It's about being creative and finding things just everywhere, in your kitchen, in your living room, in your basement, in your garage, in your bathroom. Find things that have texture. Find things that have a surface that, oh, look, I can stamp with that. Oh, look, I can do this with that. Oh, look, this is a piece of ephemera off of something. I mean, what if you had some tickets left over from something? Or if you go to the dry cleaners, you pick up tickets. If you go to the grocery store, you get coupons. Use them in your art. You can totally use them to rip up and just add texture, because as you noticed, the original thing is way in the background, so you don't see a lot of the, it's there. I can see the original colors of that sheet of this, you know, I can see the texture mostly from this and the color, but that original piece that I was breaking up, you only feel the texture of that. And it gives it this really, I mean, it feels so cool. And it feels like that because of, you know, the texture of the different sizes and the different thicknesses of things. So it gives it this really cool feeling. So not only if you give somebody this, it looks pretty, but they're going to be able to feel it and go, ooh, what is that? What did you use on that? And if you tell them paper towel and a piece of ripped up painted paper, they're going to be like, what? So, I mean, there's just everything. You can do anything with it. I wonder if this camera will pick it up any better. A little bit. There's that one. I like this one. And they got like some metallic to them. See that texture? Look at that. I mean, how cool is that? So don't discount stuff that you have lying around. It's definitely worth it to look around and take your junk and save some junk. Save cereal boxes to make your ATCs on. You don't have to do it on water paper. I wouldn't have. If I knew I was going to come out with ATCs, I would have done it on just cereal box or chipboard or whatever. But yeah, so use what you got. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I've said this stuff before. I've done this, but I know I've got some mixed media newbies out there, and I want to help them get started and understand that you don't need a lot of stuff. The stuff that I got all back here, all this crap, it took me 15 years, maybe more, because I've been doing this stuff since I was a kid, and I've saved stuff. And then, but when I moved to Tennessee about 15 years ago, before that I had gotten rid of a lot of stuff, but because I went through periods back then where I didn't do art for a while. Not long periods, but periods. But this is the longest I've ever gone and done art. And I think YouTube is a big help because it's very inspirational. You can go on YouTube and you can find anything. So it's a great tool to keep you inspired to watch YouTube videos. And don't be afraid to comment on a YouTuber that you like. And if you think that they might be able to show you a specific technique you want to see, or if you say, I've got this, and this, I have limited supplies. What can I make with that? I mean, you could totally do that to me. If you, on one of my videos, you want to comment and say, well, I only have this, and this. Show me what I can make with that. I'm totally game for it. I'll do it. And, or we can do a live stream and you can do it with me and follow along, and I'll show you what you can do with your supplies. But don't be afraid to play. Try anything. If it's paint and it's paint, so I can only use that on paper and this, that, and the other. No, you can use it on tons of things. You got some paper flowers, paint them up. I mean, it's use anything on anything. Try everything. Because I get people that'll ask me questions, and it's like some of these questions I don't understand, because it's like, try it. Don't ask me. Just try it. Just do it. You're not going to hurt anything. I mean, nothing's going to blow up. Just try it. They'll be like, oh, can I use that thing on this? And it's like, yeah, you can use it on anything. Or if I don't know and I've never tried it, I'll tell them, try it. And I always tell them, try it. Even if I have done it, please give it a try. Don't be afraid. So definitely utilize your stuff that you do have, because it takes a long time to get crap. I mean, and that's not the important part. I love my stuff, but most of it is secondhand because I don't buy a whole lot of brand new stuff. Like this Christmas, I was able to buy some brand new stuff, but that's the thing. You get it little by little, and then you get junk and you get Happy Mail, or you get secondhand stuff. You go to the Goodwill and you find packs of paper here and there. You find a couple of stamps here and there. You get stuff that way. So if you don't have a lot of money, you don't have to worry about it. You will build up a stash. I promise you. If you're brand new to this, don't get discouraged because you see people like me who have a lot of stuff, or other people, oh, well, they have that. I can't do this because, no, don't. Just because I'm using a specific type of paint, any paint will work. It doesn't matter. I don't use artist grade paints. Actually, the artist grade paints I have are all from a secondhand store. I have never bought in my life artist grade paints. I have crappy paints, craft paints from Walmart that cost 50 and 65 cents. That's what I use mostly. So please don't be discouraged when you see other people's videos and they've bought all this expensive stuff. You don't need any of that. I've been arting for many, many years on such little budget. I used to sit in, I remember when I lived in New Jersey, I had literally a drawer in my desk, and I had a little sorter that I got from my dad's office with different colored cardstock and a couple little pieces of scrapbook paper, and that's it. And that's what I'd use. And I'd save boxes, and I would cut things up, and I would make things. And I did that for years. I mean, I never even thought. I mean, I had like one little stamp set that had like 8 stamps in it. It was really tiny. I have it still because I've had it since 1990 something. That's all I used. I didn't go out and buy things because I had zero money. There was no such thing as creative reuse. There was no thrift stores that had stuff. Now there is such a wealth of ways to get stuff cheap that, you know, even if you can go to the store, there's coupons. Use coupons. Wait for sales. Don't be impatient. Wait for sales. You know that the sales go on week after week after week. And buy like one thing, you know, take $5. If that's all your budget is, take that $5 and go to the store and buy yourself a stamp. Okay, so you got one good stamp. Next week, go and buy yourself an ink pad. You got a stamp and an ink pad. Do it slowly. That's how I did it. And, you know, that's how a lot of us have done it, unless we have massive money. And some people do, and that's cool. You know, that's great. They're able to get it all at once. They're lucky. Awesome. Be happy for them. Don't get jealous or pissed, because I know there was some, I saw some lady in a group get mad, not mad, but she was like acting all, well, you know, I wish people wouldn't post pictures of all the stuff they get because it makes other people feel bad. No, I'm sorry, but it's not their fault that somebody else might feel bad, because that person just needs to get over it, because you're not expected to have everything. And just because you see somebody else have everything, that's fine. Be happy for them. They built up their stash, and more than likely it took them 10, 15, 20 years to do it. So just realize that if you're new to it, please don't expect to have things, because it's not going to happen. That's just, it's like when you have a job, the people at the top, they don't start at the top. They get good at what they're doing because they worked with so little. And so that's what the same with art. You know, you start at the bottom, and the great thing about that is you learn how to use things you wouldn't use, which is the best, because it teaches you mixed media at its rawest form. It teaches you how to really be creative. So you got to think of it this way. If you see somebody that's new to mixed media who goes out and spends $1,000 on supplies, that person is never going to learn what you're going to learn with your $10 of supplies and your crap from around your house. I promise you that, because they are learning how to do everything by the book, whereas you will learn how to use what you have and be creative, and it will make the gears go in your head. I promise it'll make you a better artist in the long run, because 10 years from that point, you will be better than that person that bought thousands and thousands of dollars of stuff right up front. Guaranteed, you will be better. It has nothing to do with the amount of stuff you have. You can create beautiful things on crap. It's just the truth, because I've done it for a long time. I did not get this much crap overnight. Believe me. I mean, some of my paints, like this white paint that I said was glopping. I don't know if I said that in this video, but I was using in the live stream. I've had this specific bottle of paint for 8 years. That's just, I mean, I've held on to it, and I use it very sparingly. You see how I take every little piece of paint and I try to find something to put it on, so that I have collage papers, paper towels, things to use. This is my stash. This is how you build up a stash. Now I've got all these pattern papers. Between yesterday and today, I've got all this pattern paper, and it's beautiful. It's really sparkly and pretty. You can't see the sparkle on there, but it's really pretty in person. You can't see it here, but it's actually really pretty. And it's, you know, use that stuff. That's your scrapbook paper. That's your collage paper. If you got a printer, well, then you're, you know, half the battle's over. And if you don't have a printer, for $50, you can get a cheap Epson printer, and the Epson ink is the cheapest, and you get it off of eBay, and you can print out all the graphics all night long. And if you want me to, leave a comment below, and I will show you how I do my graphics so that I print them the best way for me. And if you need some advice on how to print graphics, and you can get like a lot of graphics on one page and then you can cut them out so that you don't waste paper, let me know in the comments, and I'll do a whole video on how to use your printer, and how the best way to print out your graphics and everything, to resize them the way you want them, everything. So I can totally do that. So please don't be afraid to use what you have, and don't feel bad because somebody else has more stuff than you, because you will. Trust me. Within a year, if you're new to mixed media and art, within a year you're going to see how much you end up collecting. It's pretty amazing, even with very little money, because I was able to collect a lot just by people giving me stuff, and I you know, go to a thrift store and not expect to find something and find like a whole bag of, you know, stamps and ink, and or, you know, if you have a creative reuse store, there you go. If you don't, one will pop up because they are huge now. They are starting to pop up everywhere. It's kind of like Starbucks. They all started popping up. So somebody will open a creative reuse store. And, you know, if you don't find one on Google by searching for your like county and state, um, and like if you click, like my county would be Davidson County, I would put Davidson County creative reuse search, and that's how you find them. If you don't find any, you never know, they might not be called creative reuse stores, and you might be able to ask some people in your neighborhood, ask people, you know, get on, see if you could find like an art board somewhere like that's in your town, or like a meetup group, maybe that's like a scrapbooking or art meetup group, and maybe get into that group on meetup.com and ask them if there's some sort of creative reuse store or thrift store for craft and art supplies, because I bet you will find something. You might have to drive an hour, but it's worth it. Trust me. If you could take $50 and take that to a creative reuse store, you will get uh, that $50 is going to be as if you had a, you know, $400 in a regular craft store. That's how much that money will stretch. That's why it's better to go to a creative reuse. So anyway, I've talked enough. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Make sure you do what you love and love what you do and be nice to people. I love you guys. Bye.